So in the last video, I created the Synapse Workspace, but I named like the Data Lake earlier and Workspace, not good names, so I updated them. But before we go into Synapse Workspace, I just want to show, I forgot to mention, that in the Data Lake storage account, in the container, in the directory, you should have a file that's a database type of file, and I'll show you why. I'll mention it later. But anyway, let's go to the workspace. Oops, not that one. And I showed you open the Synapse Studio, and I'll get more into it in a second. But first, we're going to create a SQL pool. And so you click New. And the reason for a SQL pool is because it gives you an option to have compute infrastructure that can be used for storing your SQL data warehouse. And that's having a data warehouse is one of the reasons for creating a Synapse workspace. So let's just give it a name of something you can remember. That's good, naming convention. And so less performance, the less it costs. So that's why I'm doing low performance, and everything else looks good. And when it's ready, I'll create it. Actually, while I'm waiting for it to be deployed, I want to show you something real quick. I don't remember if I showed you in the last video. But if we go to Synapse Studio and we go to data, it's going to say database 0. But after the pool gets created and we refresh it, it'll come up. So it's now go to it and then come back when it's ready. Alright, it's deployed, so if you go to it, and here, let's refresh databases. And it says 1, and it's our pool that we just created. And so you could make new tables and everything by using strips, but I want to make a pipeline. So go here, do copy data pool, built-in copy task, run once. And so the source, the connection that we're going to do is we're going to create a new one. And you can use any type, it doesn't have to just be Azure, like Amazon here. But I'm going to use the data pool that we created. Where is it here? Data Lake, not data pool, sorry. And I'm okay with that name. Change storage count name. You pick the data lake that you had previously, and you can test the connection here. And it's successful, so let's create it. And here we're going to pick a file in the container and the directory you created inside the directory. Here we go. So after you do that, you link the data that you want. You just click next, and we can preview it. If it was like text file, it'd look better. And that's good. So now we want to choose a destination, and we're going to do a new connection, and we're going to want to do the Synapse Analytics. Name's fine. So that's the name of Synapse. Then you choose your SQL Pool. It's fine. Username, you want to get that from your Synapse workspace. Admin username. And the password's the one that you created. And you can test connection. Good. Alright, it's created. So here it's going to automatically create a table. So let's just call it schema let's call it database demo, and that's fine. Let's go to next. So here you could map columns. The file I had didn't really have anything, but if you want to create new mappings, you can do that. So I'm just going to go next. And you can give it task name, so I'm going to just say like copy pool and disable staging, but bulk insert. Actually, let me make it more clear. Copy to pool, and let's go next. Next. So right now it's deploying. That's going to create a data set. And the pipeline, so the pipeline's used for, okay, so it's just going to copy the data from the file that was in a container, and there wasn't much data, and it's going to put that into the SQL pool. Alright, it's done, so you click finish, and let's go check it. So we go monitor, pipeline runs, copy the pool, that's the task, and it failed. Okay, well it's because I didn't have proper data in the data set, but it's fine. But we can look at the data here, it's going to set the error, and it says found more columns than expected. But let's just say it worked. You would go to data and go to databases, pick your pool and tables, and you go to the one that you just created, that new table, and new SQL script, and whatever you want to do to it, you can. I did select top 100, and then you would run it, and you'd be able to, view your data and play around with it. So after you're done with that, if you're done using Synapse Workspace because you did the task that you needed, then just make sure you delete it, which I'm going to do now.